Coach will start with an opening statement, and then we'll take questions.
I want to give credit to Coach and FDU. They came in here, they battled hard, especially in that second half. They never gave up. They kept fighting, and they pushed us to our limit, which is good. We talk a lot about playing 40 minutes of Fordham basketball. And again, we're not quite there. Played a good 20 minutes. Honestly, in the first half, we talked about it at halftime. I think we played really well for 15 minutes. We played harder and more together than FDU for 15 of the 20 minutes. Probably in the second half, I'm going to go ahead and say we probably only played harder than FDU and more together for 5. So I'll take 20. We got to keep striving to get to 40 minutes of playing harder and more together than our opponent. And we haven't had a ton of practice time. These guys have, since before Thanksgiving, I think that's like 12 straight days without a day off of either travel, practice, or game. Tomorrow will be our first day off. As a result, we haven't had a ton of practice time. And you saw kind of our rust late in the game. Inside that last 4-minute timeout, we struggled a little bit to put them away. And we made some mistakes late that allowed them to get back into the game a little bit. But again, that's from the rust of not having a ton of practice time and working on end-of-game situations. We will clean that up Friday and Saturday and get ready for a great team in Maine. I would like to say to all the fans, please, I know it's exams. We need all of the energy and all of the support that we can get, right? These guys work so hard to represent the name on the front of the jersey. It is so important to have energy in this building. We know when there's people packed in Rose Hill, it becomes Rose Thrill. It is a must for us to take this program where everybody's hoping it will go. And we have to have some more support from the students, from the fan base. We will continue to work as hard as we possibly can to prove to you that we're worthy of that support. So please come out. Anybody who can bring people, friends, family, whatever it might be. If you need free tickets, I'll figure it out. But we need this place to be crowded on Sunday. Maine is a very old and mature team, and we got to take care of business. So thank you, and go Rams.
All right, questions? Sam?
Coach, can you talk about that stretch in the first half where FDU, they went up by 4? Can you talk about, where they kind of took advantage of you guys on defense and then how you guys adjusted?
Yeah, we had a few too-many turnovers. We made some careless mistakes. They did a good job mixing up coverages, and Josh and Tripp. They were blitzing in the post, so we tried to figure out a way to keep the ball in the middle more. And I think once we started keeping the ball in the middle, it really allowed us to get to the paint, get into the free throw line, and we had our way in the paint, and we knew that was going to be an advantage. In the beginning of the game, I think we settled way too much for too many threes. These guys started to drive the ball, play off 2 feet, get to the free throw line, pound the ball inside, and we saw a lot of results.
Jahmere, we just talked to Coach Lowe about how you're really starting to look comfortable out there. I'm just curious, your perspective on starting to play more at the point and also the offensive success.
Yeah, everything kind of just coming to me slowly. Getting more in shape, getting more comfortable with everything, and we practice hard, so everything I do in practice is going to show in the game. So.
You want to talk about the point?
I barely ran the point, but I can pass the ball pretty well. And when we in practice, I kind of practice more than one position. I try to learn a 3, the 2, and the 1, and even the 4 and the 5 sometimes. So that's where that comes from.
20 and 10 is pretty good. 20 and 10 is pretty good.
Career highs both for Jahmere, 20 and 10.
Nice.
One for Jackie. Jackie, as the season progresses, teams get more film on you. They throw different things at you defensively. You still got over 20 points, but you had a season-high 5 assists. What did you see out there, and how were you able to affect the game, not only scoring the ball, but finding others for easy shots?
It helps when I'm playing with, Mr. Double right here, my dog Tripp, you know what I'm saying, and Josh and Fett and Dude. So, just playing with guys like that is just, allows me to be able to, still, get them involved and they can get me involved. It's a two-way street when you got, such great players.
Coach, you opened up the game 0 for 12 from 3.
Yeah,
you were subbing guys out off early shot clock, missed threes a couple times. You called for subs immediately after that. What did you say to the guys to help turn things around and allow for a more efficient output from downtown going forward?
Yeah, just to drive the ball, play off 2 feet, pound the ball inside. We talked about that being our game plan, is to abuse them in the paint or try to, because they didn't have a ton of depth and their size was not nearly as big as we were. So we knew they've been hurt throughout their year by getting the ball into the paint, whether or not it's off the dribble whether or not it's in the post. So that was a part of our game plan, and we weren't executing that in the very beginning. And we started to execute it, and then crashed the offensive glass, which I really think, we had 15 offensive rebounds, right? So second chance points, 14-2. That's a huge difference in the game. We won by what? 11, right? Or 9. And we outscored them second chance points by 12. So we started to understand what the game plan was and execute the game plan of pounding the ball inside. And then it opened up a couple of threes for him, and we got it going a little bit.
They probably had a few too many late for your liking, but in general, your 3-point defense seemed to be working for the most part today.
Yeah, it did. We got to do a much better job. We got fortunate a couple of times because they had some open looks, but the guys that wanted to shoot threes didn't get the opportunity to shoot them, and that was part of our game plan, right? It might look funky. The kid number 7 has only hit 3 threes on the year, so we dared him to make them in the beginning. He goes 2 for 3. That's going to happen sometimes. And then the kid number 1 hadn't made a 3 all year, or maybe 1. Hits 1 off the dribble. The kid number 24 hadn't made 1 all year, makes 2. So the guys that we wanted to have to shoot them were the ones shooting them, especially in crucial moments. So that's executing the way we wanted to. But again, late in the game, we got to clean up a lot. We made a lot of mistakes, and some guys got some open looks. If they hit 1 or 2 of those, we're in a dogfight.
Matt Zona had a few key steals today. I know he's had his defensive struggles at times this season. What do you see today?
I thought he played great, right? I thought he played great on both ends of the floor. He made a huge impact, not just from the statistics, right? When he didn't get the steal, he got his hand on the ball. We're trying to simplify things a little bit on defense, especially for him, and I think he relished in that today. But his energy, his effort were really, really impressive. And as a result, when you just concentrate on defending and rebounding and playing as hard as you can, next thing you know, in rhythm 3. Gets a bucket in the paint, right? He really helped us out a lot. And a lot of things that don't add up that Matt does, things like we chart, screen assists. So that means if he screens someone in the paint to give open driving lane, he gets a point for that in our chart, our statistics. He does a ton of little things that most people don't even pay attention to that add up into what we call our attitude club, and he's always at the top of that. So really excited for him.
Can you just walk through Ryan and Jaden not playing at all in the second half?
Yeah, you know what? They played great in the first half. Just in the second half, it was a little too tight for my liking. Had to go with what we felt like we trusted at that time, especially on the defensive end, and that's just kind of the way it goes, especially with the young guys. They got to continue to build trust. I thought in the minutes that they gave in the first half, really, really good. Just, I shortened the bench in the second half to keep things consistent and make sure that, we could trust whoever was out there that knew exactly what we were doing.
Anything from any of our student journalists in the back? No.
That's not a question.
Sam.
Jackie, throughout the game, coaches hammering into you guys attitude, calling that throughout the game. How often are you guys relaying that to each other on the court, on the bench? How important are you guys taking that and making that your own game plan?
Yeah, we relay that every day. Every day practice, every day after practice, every day before a game, after the game. So, it's something that's constantly going through our minds, constantly going through our heads, something that we're constantly saying, so all the time.
Every huddle, too.
Yeah, every huddle, too. Yeah.
We just got great. President Sumner came and saw the team, and she actually led the new AD, Charles Guthrie, led our huddle with attitude, which was a pretty cool moment for us.
Got time for 1 or 2 more? Sam?
Actually, Coach, if I can follow up, speaking of Director Guthrie, could you talk about, just your experience with him so far and just, this new era of Fordham athletics?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Our communication's been off the charts. His energy is really infectious. He reminds me a lot of Ed, but has a lot more experience than Ed does, which has been really impressive so far. I'm really excited because so far his communication, his energy around basketball, what he did at Akron is off the charts with facilities and basketball. He's all in, and I couldn't be more excited to continue to get to work with him. But he just officially started, but we've been communicating for a minute now, so pumped about it.
And
just one for me, Coach. You got back-to-back games with 40-plus points in the paint. Obviously, ideally, you wanted a balanced offense, 3-point and inside, but what have you liked the last couple of games with just what your team's done being aggressive, attacking the rim, getting high percentage shots there?
Yeah, we're setting good screens. We're feeding the post much better than we had been, and then we're playing off of 2 feet when we get into the paint off our drives. This guy did a phenomenal job. He did it very last possession. I've been begging him. He finally listened, and he got an open layup. Maybe he'll watch film and realize how easy it is now. But we have an advantage with our athleticism and our size, especially here in the non-conference, and we're very physical. And a lot of those guys that are playing in the paint are older, so we need to utilize them. And what it does is it wears them out. So especially in non-conference, teams don't have as much depth as we do. So especially at the big spot. So you wear them out every time when you put in the paint. They got to guard. They got to guard and be physical, right? They get in foul trouble. We get in the one-on-one quicker. We start pounding on the offensive glass. We're wearing teams out. And I think that's a huge advantage for us, and we're starting to understand that. And these guys are paying attention, which is great.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
We need this group. We need this group they were the only fans in the building. We need them all the time. This is awesome.
I'm sharing a grade with somebody back there. I have some good questions.
I don't know.
You used my
Hey.
questions, but-
Great time to be a Ram. Thank you guys so much.